Hey guys, what's up? This is Eric. First off, I apologize for taking so long to upload part two. I just got really busy and didn't have time to create a video for the subsequent parts. So I actually had to do this install again, so I figured I'd go ahead and just pick up where I left off. So one thing to note is I'm actually installing the latest version right now, which is 11.1192. The only difference between 11.1191 and 9.2 are that basically the previous version was 11.1181, and when people were trying to migrate to 11.1191, there was some bug where they couldn't upgrade. So they released 11.1192, and now people can upgrade to 11.1192 if they had 11.1181. However, if you have 11.1191, you can't upgrade to 9.2. So just something to keep in mind. So we'll go ahead and start the ODI install. So just one more thing I wanted to mention is that normally if you're installing OBIE, you go ahead and create the ODI RCU or the ODI repository before you went ahead and did the install. However, we have to do it differently for BI apps. We actually have to skip the repository creation, and we will get into it later. So I can explain it later, but I'm just going to leave it at that for right now. So go ahead and navigate to wherever ODI is. And the directory structure might look a little differently because this is actually a different box than I was doing for the first video. But it should be fairly similar, so it shouldn't throw you off too bad. Alright, just run the installer. Oh yeah, okay, so it's going to ask for Java Home, and you should have this set, so you can just do this. That'll show you what you need to input. So we're going to do USR Java JDK 1.6.0_45. And I really don't know why it it asks for the JDK location because if it's in your path variable, it should execute by default, but that's just the way it is. So skip, and this is all pretty straightforward. I'm going to check all these. Okay, so let's look at this. Checking for recommended operating system packages. So we have to look here line by line. It's kind of a pain because we can't make this bigger, so we have to kind of squint and try and read this at the same time. So first one's passed, second one's passed. Anytime you see passed, you're okay. So all right, this one says not found, but you can see it's an i686, which is essentially a 32-bit is for a 32-bit OS. So anytime, if you're running a 32-bit, then yeah, you need that. But I'm running a 64-bit, so right here, x86_64, that's good. As long as we don't see x86_64 not found, then we'll be okay. So this is a 686 again. That's a 686. That one's found. I'm just gonna keep going through here. We should be okay because I believe I went ahead and installed all the prerequisites beforehand. So, and just a note for you guys who might be doing this install multiple times. It's if you do it once, it's a lot easier just to go ahead and just make note of these packages or these RPMs that you need to install these packages. So I just went ahead and made note of all of them. Went ahead and just created a script that installs all of them, and so you don't have to go through this every time. But just for the sake of the video and just to make sure I'm not missing anything, I'm just going to go ahead and just look real quick. All right, we're good. So we're just going to continue. All right, so it says an application server must already be installed. So yes, we are going to go in the middleware home, because that's where our OBIE instance is installed, and subsequently the WebLogic server is already there, so that's where we want to go. And yes, it is a WebLogic server. WebSphere is not supported. And here's where we're going to skip repositories. Agent name, just come up with an agent name. I'm going to, I don't know, what am I going to name it? ODI agent. Oh no, which port should I do? 7006. Take a screenshot of this so I don't forget. Okay, should be able to install. And this shouldn't take long. But for you folks who might have been curious about, whether to put the IP or the host name, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this without having a whiteboard in front of me or something. So basically, if you put the IP address, if you hard-coded the IP address, and your DNS changes that IP, that's just one good example. Then it's not going to work, obviously. So I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to get into some of the more complicated scenarios, but that's enough of a good reason to use a host name. So, all right, I don't know how long this last 3% is going to take, so I'm just going to pause it and I'll pick up where I left off. All right, so that should finish, and click next. And you can save this file. I'm actually going to save it since this is not for me. Where should I put this? It's in Home, Oracle Documents. Okay, and finish. All right, now we are going to go ahead and create the RCU for, run the RCU rather, for BI apps. So I can't actually remember exactly how to do this, so bear with me. Shoot, I know it's not in there. Yeah, I'm going to have to pause it. I'm going to have to find it. I don't even think I named it, so give me a minute. Okay, I found it. It's in my downloads directory, so I just moved it over. But so you see we have two zip files here. One is actually business intelligence applications, and the other one is the RCU, the 5543. That's the RCU. So I'm going to unzip that one. Wait, 7. All right, so now this is unzipped. Let's see what's in this directory. Oh man, it extracted a lot of stuff. Okay, so I guess where are we? Huh. All right. Should just be able to run the RCU here. Nope. What the hell? I'm an idiot. I don't know why I did CD. is going on? It's right there. Do I have to, hang on, let me see. Let's try this. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm going to look into this real quick. I'll let you guys know what I come up with. Okay guys, I figured it out. So I was just missing some package. I think it was this one. libxtst.i686. I just did a yum install on that. That was the second problem. So that resolved this issue. First issue I was having, where I just left off at, let me see if I can find it. Bad elf interpreter. I believe that package to resolve that issue was glibc.i686. If you install those two packages, you should be good to go. As long as you're experiencing the same issues. So, anyways, go ahead and resume this, and just make sure that your database is up and running, along with your listener. So we're going to create, and just to give you guys a brief overview, this RCU is basically going to create 3 database schemas, so one is the data warehouse schema. This is all for BI apps. So the data warehouse schema, the BI applications repository, and then the BI applications ODI repository, which is why we skipped the RCU creation before we actually installed ODI. So again, we're going to go ahead and enter in our host name, the port, service name, all that good stuff. And I don't want to be or state the obvious, but you do have to use sys. So for anyone trying to use some random user, don't do that. It won't turn out good. All right, and you want to keep the same prefix. So just so we can be consistent, right? So like I said, these are the 3 schemas that we're going to create here. So go ahead and go next. Okay. Use password. I always just use welcome 1. Unless it's for a client or something. But whoops. All right, this is kind of a pain. There's really no easy way to go about doing this, but it's asking you to enter in these custom variables, and really it's just the complete file path of where these files reside. So I'm actually just going to show you where they are real quick, and show you what I'm talking about, and then we can go ahead and enter all that good stuff in. But let's see where we're at right now. So wherever your installer directories are, we're going to go back there. And we're going to go back to where we just unzipped and ran this RCU we're currently running from. So that was actually, I left that in the OBIA directory. So this is where all the contents are, and I believe it's in the RCU directory. If we go in here, look into the integration directory, and finally we'll go into the BI apps directory, and then so schema will actually have all these files that the RC is looking for. And these are just dump files, so if you don't know what a dump file, just do a quick Google search. But we're basically going to be pointing at these three. But we're not going to be pointing at the file directly. We're just going to be pointing at the directory before that, the directory that's storing these. So it'll be schema. So we do a pwd just so we can see it while we're typing. We don't have to memorize it. Unfortunately, we actually do have to type this all out 3 times because copy and paste will not work. So go ahead and start doing this. It's kind of a pain because you can't screw up. Everything's got to be perfect, and it's case sensitive, so keep that in mind. I'm gonna double check that. Nope, I messed that one up. What was I doing? I was using my other environment. I get mixed up. Okay, Oracle installers. Shoot. Yeah, this is not right at all. I'm sure you guys noticed while I was typing, so I'm just going to fix this real quick. Should be good now. All right, do this one more time. It's a little bit easier when you have the first one done, so you can use it as reference rather than having to look down and up and down and up. Okay, we should be good here. Okay, now here's where we have to do some custom configuration of the table spaces. I'm just going to do what Oracle's documentation recommends. However, if this is for a production system, it's usually best practice for the DBA to either just do this part of the install or have a DBA sit next to you, because they might have to make some changes, or there's a lot of things that DBAs know and I don't. So just keep that in mind. But since we're just throwing this on a blank server, not really doing much with it, I'm just gonna keep it to Oracle's recommendations, and I will show you what those are. So if we go to manage table spaces, and we go to DW data, dev DW data, we have to change. Hang on, let me look real quick. Okay, so this first one, we're actually going to change this to 20 gigs, and we're going to set the maximum size to unlimited, and leave the rest default values. So say OK, and the next one we're going to have to make amendments to is the dev DW IDX, and again, this is just the prefix. So if you made it a different prefix, obviously it's going to be different. I know I keep stating the obvious, but sometimes it's not so obvious to some people. So just wanted to point that out. But let me go ahead and I believe we just leave this mostly default. We go in here and edit it. I think the only thing we have to change is just the unlimited. Keep it at 5 gigs. This next one, click here, edit. We have to change this to 10 gigs. And also set the maximum size to unlimited. And the last one is the DW temp. come in here, and for some reason, oh no, never mind. Yeah, we're going to bump this up to 15 gigs and set this to unlimited. And I think we're good here. So click OK and close. All right, now we're going to go ahead and hit next. And it's asking us any table spaces that do not already exist. Yes, we want to create them. Okay. So it's going to validate these table spaces. And this, I believe this takes a minute. So yeah, I'm actually looking at my my notes, and this took about 20-something minutes last time I ran it, but this is a much more powerful box, so we'll see. But regardless, I'm going to go ahead and pause this, so I'll pick up when it stops. All right, and looks like we're finished. So let's go ahead and click OK and create. I'm sorry, this is actually the part that takes a long time. I forgot about this one, so I'm going to pause it.